computer. That's it. And yeah, so we can start. Minjai, do you want to start to present yourself and why you're here?
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Good evening. My name is pronounced as Minhaj Amin. Minhaj Amin, but the Americans have, I used to work with, have made it as Min. So easy for pronouncing and for everyone. Min is what people call me. And my background is fairly mixed. I used to work in the corporate sector as a consultant in the UK for many years. And 15 years ago, penny dropped. I don't know what happened. I was reading too much and I left my job in the UK and I came back to India. And since then, I have been focusing entirely on projects around promoting sustainability, environmental sustainability in India. I have realized that the current economic paradigm is not going to work on a finite planet. And India with 1.5 billion people, if they try to emulate even a European lifestyle, let alone an American lifestyle, I think we are all doomed. And combined with China, it's going to be even worse. So my interest in degrowth is essentially to figure out how, one of my interests is how to be happy. So I run workshops on happiness and all that. And of course, the data very overwhelmingly suggests that we don't need to have so many material things for our well-being and fulfillment. So the challenge is what kind of paradigm, what kind of paradigm shift, what kind of system shift do we need to ensure that we can provide that to all life, not just human beings, a life without, without too much unnecessary suffering. And can degrowth and dematerialization play a role in that? That's why I'm here. To learn more from everyone, to hear from everyone, and to see where I can contribute.
Thanks again. I was silenced. I just posted the protocol again to the chat. So welcome, Anna. Nice that you're here. You're also welcome to open the protocol and add your name in there. As you probably know, in Zoom, when we close the session, the chat is lost. So we start to write the protocol aside. Thanks a lot, Min. Let's continue with Nicola. I just have to unfortunately open my door.
Hello, I'm from Nicola. I live in the UK. I'm from Transition Network, and I'm here. So I should be saying hello to Frank and Kitty and Anai. Yeah, I'm here because I heard about it on an email from Frank, and yeah, I'm just curious, really. I think that there's been questions around the place about how do we map what's going on for a long time. I often hear those questions, so I'm curious to find out and about this particular solution, and yeah, see if it can help. That's me.
Thanks. And next one would be Frank.
Hi everybody. I'm Frank. I currently live in Lima, Peru, but I'm from Germany originally. I founded a transition organization in Nuremberg, Germany in 2008. And with that, we had one of the earliest mapping projects in the transition organization then. It was called Regionallotse, and there we were mapping exactly the same like we do now in the Map of Tomorrow. Everything that is part of this transformation we need, organizations, NGOs whatsoever, and we found more than 1,600 groups, organizations, companies just in our region to show how diverse this transformation is already. And now for some years already, I work with Helmut to transfer our data over to the Map of Tomorrow and try to help with this project, I translated the Map of Tomorrow into Spanish originally, and started the Map of Tomorrow in Peru. And Joanna is waving. Hey, Joanna. And well, excited that we maybe make the next step, since I have this dream that people could come wherever they travel in the world and go to the Map of Tomorrow and find where they can buy organic or connect with zero waste activists or find a couch to sleep on or whatever it is.
Thanks. So let's continue with Joanna.
Hi everyone, how are you? I am Joanna from Argentina. I am here because I am working to unite all the movements around the world, all the activists. I am part of from the Extinction Rebellion. I am working in create a global movement around the COP26. And I am here because I love to meet new people with the same aims, and the world needs us, because, you know, the speech of Trump yesterday, and it's made me very, very sad. And I use this emotion, the sadness and the scare things, to change the world, to take action. And because of this, I am here. Nice to meet you.
Great, thanks. Next would be Michael.
Yes, I'm Michael from Switzerland, and I was a little bit involved in the Mapathon this weekend in Europe, which different European movements would be gathered on the Map of Tomorrow. And I was a little bit involved in the education stuff. I'm a teacher, so, but I'm also interested, like some of you, in connecting all people and movements together, like everyone knows from each other. Yeah, so we can build a global consciousness. Thank you. And I don't have the time all the meeting, maybe I will drop out, but I can hopefully watch later or so. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. Kimberly, do you want to share why you're here and who you are?
Yes, hello everyone. Nice to meet you all. I'm Kimberly from India. I'll decide what actually I don't have really good connection right now because it's raining really heavily here. So I might just go off in between. So thanks for the recording. Okay. I work with in the field of environment education with students. So yeah, I'm here. I met Helmut for the ESG Expert Net, and I heard about this project with him about mapping of tomorrow, which is really amazing. So I'm here to learn more stuff and yeah, network with you guys. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks. Yeah, nice to hear you again, Kimberly. And Anai.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're fine. And I'm here because I have been like 3 years making a map from transition in Mexico. And it's not only a map from transition, it's also for inspiring initiatives in Mexico and local currencies. And then I met Helmut by Transition Network and also from ESG ExpertNet. I'm also working on linking with Casa Mexico. I came from another meeting of mapping in Casa Mexico. And I love to be connecting all these initiatives and also in an educational way and also in a social network, not this network from Instagram or Facebook, the people who is meeting one each other and who's behind that project. I love to do that and networking, and it's why I'm here and currently working in the growth movement mapping in map of tomorrow, and then I will try to pass all my information to map of tomorrow, and also working in Kumu, that I think is a very, very nice mapping platform. Thank you very much, and it's everything.
Thanks, Anna. So let's continue with Wendy. She just joined in from New York, I think. Now she lost kind of the connection. Oh, Wendy, do you hear us? You are muted.
Hi.
Great. You are welcome to also present yourself and why are you joining?
Hi, everybody. I'm Wendy from New York City. Today I'm on a small island off of Lower Manhattan where I volunteer on a farm on Tuesday. And we're growing food for a food bank in New York City. So it's a crazy moment in our country right now. And everywhere, people are on pause today. We're all stopping. The island, one of those reflections. Anyhow, it's so crazy. And I've been mapping for about 25 years. I started by making a map of sustainability in New York in 1992. And that became
Wendy, your connection is broken, I think. We don't hear you anymore.
when Map of Tomorrow was just getting started, and they were this is one of I don't think it's there right now, right? Here, I'll let you see these flowers because they're nice. It's so pretty here. This is a car-free island, by the way. It used to be owned by the military and was given back to the people about 10 years ago. Right, work, and that's what growing food is. Green Map. We have a that are now open source for nature, culture, social justice, and sustainable living sites. So you can use them and mix them with your own icons, with other icons, all good by us. At greenmap.org, you can see the mapping platform that's being built in Berlin, and it's being donated to Green Map. So it's now ready to use. In fact, I just finished working on the updated tutorial and people are reviewing it right now. So the new tutorial for it, this OGM2, Open Green Map 2, will be online later this week for both new and returning green map makers. It's a little different depending if you've worked with us before. And then during the pandemic, we made recovery icons. And if you're interested in seeing them or using them, greenmap.org/recovery.
Okay, I think
the three themes are public health, relaxation, and regeneration. Bless you. So that's really it. And you can use them on our mapping platform, and our platform takes any symbol set. So you can add your own, or you can make a mix, a custom mix. And you can also use them as images, and it's all on that one page.
Thanks a lot, Wendy.
So I'll stop.
I think somehow your connection wasn't that stable, but I will just summarize. Wendy runs one of the oldest, one of the most experienced mapping platforms. Especially also, she has developed a set of really beautiful icons, which I was just sharing. And now she also developed kind of recovery icons. So they are not only mapping transformation, they are also mapping cultural sites, natural sites. It's basically very free. People can just use their platform in different areas and put their own maps. And I put the links in the protocol so people can look it up there. And now we have one more person here in the call, which is joined by telephone. Do you want to present yourself as well? So you would be welcome to do. No, we also forgot Kitty. Kitty, you might start first.
Well, happy to be here. I see people I knew already, like Nicola. Nice ideas are here. It's I'm involved in the mapping. I do the transition website for France, and now suddenly everybody is jumping. Yeah, we should work together. Finally, very nice. And where's the map? So we have a Google map. We have a GoGo Carto map. And what is really amazing that other parties who are, you know, more or less in the same direction as transition, like Colibri, Alternativa, a lot of groups in France, are using this map for other applications for help for during the pandemic of the coronavirus. And suddenly I see everybody's helping. And I saw a little cooperation where I sometimes buy food because I'm growing my own food. Normally I was the whole day in the garden. And I said, oh, you're helping, what are you doing? They didn't know they were on the map. These people are transferring things who don't know on other maps. And that's one of the worries. If you have a map, how can you prevent that people are already gone? The first map I saw, it was really very nice, was years ago in South Africa, in Cape Town, where the tourists often came out with a map, where the permaculture projects were with schools, where a local artisanal companies were, and they protected the real valuable and not gone or whatever. So how can we protect that it's real, that's still there? And now you see a lot of applications. There are nice applications where you can eat vegetarian, for instance. And my idea is not like the map in transition is very nice, but can you download an application? I don't use nearly not mobile phone because I'm in a zone of blind. It will say I don't have GPS here, so I cannot use it. So I stick to a computer, and I use it, you know, outside just to use it as a phone and not as an application because that is too complicated. So we are very technical, but on the other hand, there are areas, even in Europe, where you cannot use your phone. It's amazing. But it's very interesting. I'm also very interested in social mapping. I'm also on this, I followed one seminar on this platform. And I think Transition America is using that as well. So I think to have several views and how can we what and when and how we can connect, that's what I'm interested in. And so nice to see you all here. Thank you.
Thanks, Kitty. Are you also connected to Transiscope? Kitty, do you know Transiscope?
Transiscope, yes, I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, the call-in person did not say anything yet, but Kalim joined. Do you want to present yourself too?
Yeah, of course. Can you hear me, Helmut?
Yes, we can.
Thank you so much for this opportunity to be here, first of all. And thank you very much, Titi, for this beautiful presentation and beautiful perspective. Well, my name is Salim, and I am from India. I'm working in education system with the local communities, where we are trying to enhance the capacity of using sustainability in education system as well as employment capacity building. So I was being a part of leadership training program with Helmut last year by ESD ExpertNet team, and now I'm in India and trying those.
And together with Kimberly and Anai, we were together in the ESD program. Karim, we cannot hear you anymore. I don't know if you can hear us. Okay, microphone stopped. Yes, so looking to the agenda for today, I was suggesting now we started with introducing with each other, and I would like to share a little bit an introduction about the map of tomorrow. In the meanwhile, Wendy is showing us a beautiful countryside in close to New York. And well, and then we can kind of exchange ideas and platforms. I mean, we could start more or less with the exchange of ideas. When I announced this call in our ESD ExpertNet group, already the discussion started rather what is actually transformation, what is degrowth, what is like how does it look different in each country. Min already said that he is working on degrowth in India, but it's more about happiness and not about really economical degrowth as we have to do it in Europe. So I think that's going to also be quite interesting. But if you don't mind, I would start with the introduction to the map of tomorrow. So we have a basic understanding what all this is about. And then we can, in the end, very end, like the last point would be to really exchange what kind of technologies are we using and how close we can become in exchanging data and so on. That could be then more for technicians probably interesting. Are you okay with that? So let's start. I mean, it's really interesting also to see the people who joined this meeting now, because Joanna, she lives in Argentina. I was 2010 and 2010 I was working in Brazil. In 2011 I was traveling through Argentina, Chile, Bolivia, Peru. And I was looking also for transformation and for people who change the world. And it was very hard to find them because there was no map. Google Maps just started, but it was empty. There was nothing like change. There was maybe a few normal shops. Yeah, and to find a big stores, it's never difficult. But to find the small things that really change how the world is going is very difficult because most of the times they are hidden away. They are not in the front street. They are probably somewhere in a small area. And that was when I came up with the idea, well, can we somehow make all this visible, what is happening here? Because often it was like I was traveling, and when I went past the city, the people said, did you visit my friend there? And I said, no, I didn't know that they exist. So I thought it's a nice idea to do this mapping. And then when I came back to Germany, I was consumer critical. Like I did city tours through Berlin, but they were not like touristic, but they were about change and to criticize how global economy is, how you can see it in Berlin. And when you buy a t-shirt in Berlin, what it has, what kind of tale of good and bad relations it has in the world. Many tourists came there and the people left Berlin and said, oh, so nice that you have so great shops like packaging-free shops, transition initiatives, well, fair trade shops. But I'm now going back to Copenhagen. I'm going back to Basel. We don't have it in my town. And I said, you sure have it, but I don't know where it is. So we need a map where we can collect everything. And that's why I met with Frank Braun, actually. Frank has this beautiful Blue Pingo map in Nuremberg, and I was just writing in the internet an article and saying, we need those maps all over the world connected to each other. And then I met Wendy in the internet. Somebody else read this article and said, yeah, there's green maps, you can use it. Just get in touch with Wendy. So I met Wendy in Malmö to a certain mapping activity. And then we got to know open green maps. And then in the end, there was also kind of some technical developers. They wrote me and said, yeah, great idea. I am working for a profitable company. We are kind of doing bad things to the earth, but I really want to do something good now. And I would help you to develop such a platform. And then we kind of collected all the experiences from Wendy, from Frank. Well, that's what the main persons we met before. And said, okay, how can we make it really working very easily, globally, and in huge scale? And that's why Map of Tomorrow started. And I might just present it a little bit so you get a rough overview. And so Wendy's map is really great. It has really these beautiful icons, and it is a map which is globally available. The only thing is that when you have a map, it was, now with the update, it changed. But in that time, only one creator could create a map, and that we wanted to change. So in this map, really everybody is able to start mapping. So that's now Germany, as you can see, most of the entries are in Germany. That's why the project started here. We have a limit, only around 40 projects are shown at a time. That has kind of to do with your capacity of your laptop and especially the smartphone. If you would load all the 17,000 entries at the time, your smartphone will crash. So we have to limit it. But if you start zooming into Britain, you might also see some entries there. Just that the entries are shown differently. Always the best ranked entries are shown at first. So we have a ranking because when we start to allow everybody to add anything to the map, it can become kind of crowded and useless for users. And so we started from the very beginning with a certain rating system. We call it positive impact rating. So for each entry, we write the impact which has to the world. So when I'm clicking on this symbol, Akoya, it's actually a company that produces sustainable building stuff. They have a rating, ethical production, and clear practices in transparency. So I might change my map to English, so you might understand more. Here at the top right corner, you can choose the language, but your browser might detect your language already by itself, so you do not actually have to choose it manually. Well, and then you start, well, the best ranked entry is this one here, company selling grocery stuff, and they have really used the rating system because they are actually really visionary, really transparent. They have built all the companies around the SDGs, which is quite interesting. So they put it in here, and that's why when you look on the map, they're always shown in the top because they are most visionary project in this area of the map. Yeah, so that's a special thing which we came up with this idea because also Frank's map, the Lupingo map, they were like also that one redacteur, one editor could edit the map. People could suggest new sites and new entries, but the editor could choose about it directly. And in this case, with the ranking system, the people always find things, but the best things are ranked at the top. Well, and yeah, the rankings can be done by everybody. So when you go to such an entry, you see that is a ranking, an entry which doesn't have a ranking yet, but it is a biodynamic farm. So everybody without logging in sees this button, rate this entry. You can go there, you can choose one of the 6 categories. We have these 6 ways: diversity, organical diversity, renewability about cycles, energy cycles, resource cycles, fairness, and humanity is like, yeah, fair, and humanity is more or less also social innovations like sociocracy, new educational practices, solidarity about the way how you exchange your goods with others, and transparency, really fundamental issue for to be able to rank entries in some way. So we can say that's a biodynamic farm. We can say we do it here with diversity, enhancing ecological diversity by natural practices. Now I could give a reference link showing that they actually are Demeter and what it means. I don't do it now because of the time. And now I can give a ranking saying visionary, it's really to the top, it's really amazingly visionary. In this case, I would say tomorrow because biodynamic is like a standard well now, and it's not visionary in that way anymore. I also could do standard. It would have no positive or negative ranking, or I can say yesterday. So we do not rank in good or bad, but in future-proof or past in a way. So we say, okay, tomorrow, and now you suddenly see that this became, so we have 2 entries here at the moment. No, okay. So you see the unranked entries are points and the ranked entries become a pin. Okay, that's it. And also everybody is able to add new things. And we might give an example. I will go back to Germany for this example. And yeah, normally when you start mapping, you might have already some lists where you copy it from. And I just go back to my screen so I can open a list. And what I do, where is my Bildschirm? So, and I put the map on the left side, the list which I want to map on the right side, and that's a list of schools, of sustainable, of visionary schools in Germany, just as an example. And everybody on the map can say, add a new entry. I choose the category. I have to select initiative or enterprise. Is it something to buy, where you can go buying, or if you, because we have like two use cases. Often you see that some maps are only for sustainable consumption and others are just for initiatives to be engaged with each other. So because we have both of them on one map, we kind of help people to separate it. A school, I would say, is an initiative, and then I can just copy it, the title. I have a description here, or that was hidden away. So here, I have a description, it's a German description. So, and now one of the most important features are the hashtags. And I have also prepared it in my spreadsheet. So I say school from tomorrow. And by adding this hashtag, it's now on the map of schools of tomorrow. It's a global map. Everybody could use it. And then I say, okay, it's about education, which is Bildung in Germany. And it's in school on eye level. That's a special thing. That's why we want to add the school, because the teachers and the students, they establish a really cooperational learning process. And I could also say ESD, because they have an ESD program on their school. BNE is a German word, Bildung für nachhaltige Entwicklung. So I could add whatever tags I want. And with each tag, I add it to a different map. So I could say it's the map of Anai. So I could use the hashtag Anai, and if Anai would create a map for herself and use this hashtag, she could filter by this. And then I need the address, of course. A map always consists of addresses. And you can just put this in here, and the map finds the location by itself. I could also, if I want to do it more correctly, I could also just put the pin here, and then the other way around, the map finds the address. I just cannot do both. If I put in an address, it finds the pin. If I click on the map, it finds the address. But if I click on the map, or if I put in an address, afterwards I click on the map, it does not find the address anymore. Don't mind, might be too complicated. Well, you've understood it. So then I put in the URL and the email address, and we have even got a phone number. And that's it. I can generate opening hours if I need. And I could set a picture. That might be an interesting feature. So, because we do not allow to upload pictures. We do only allow to add pictures if you have the link. So I can go to any picture on the internet and say, copy the address, the image location. Copy the image location. If I use the image location, I put it in here, and an image always ends on PNG or JPEG. And then I can add another address. That can be any address I want, like Facebook, Twitter. I know, yeah, now for this case, use the normal address because I don't have any other. And then I need to accept the open source license. All places you add to the map can be reused by everybody else. That's one of the open source ideas of this map. And now it's in. I have the picture, the project, the contact details. And if I'm now clicking on the Schule von Morgen, I see this school here. But I also see, when I move out, I see all the other schools of tomorrow. So that's now the whole map of the all schools of tomorrow. So that's just by selecting one of those hashtags here. I can use the transition map. So we have like a few suggestions here. I also might see that there are some places in Britain too. I could use the degrowth topic. No, degrowth like this. So that's now the degrowth map. And that's all run by hashtags. And that's it. So that's just how Map of Tomorrow works. Well, maybe you've got some questions so far. I cannot hear. Johanna, did you say something? I did not hear. Okay.
No.
Yes, Nicola.
So the way that you see 40 at a time to save your browser speed, is there a way of kind of downloading something that gives a wider map, so you don't have to kind of watch it go and disappear as you move around the world?
Good questions, and we are working on this issue. You can download all the pins by an Excel file. So you just need to register on the map, and then I can send you a link, and you can click on it and download it, and then you can import it also to QGIS or other platforms. And we are working on a way that you can extend the limit. For example, if you're on a laptop and you say, I want to see 300 entries, you can just manually set this to 300. But the problem of appearing new entries and disappearing others might be always there. We thought about caching entries, which is an idea which could help solve this problem. Yeah, but first we want to raise the limit so that you can adjust by yourself. Maybe it's the same like the green map. It's like an open source platform. We are mostly funded by governmental means, or even working just for free on it. So it's not perfect, maybe. Yeah, so if there are no further questions, I'm interested to get to know more of the experience you have in your countries and your mapping activities. So how can we proceed to do this exchange now? Nice to see you, Kimberly. Now you've got better internet connection.
Okay. Can I answer?
Yes, Kitty.
Well, we have several maps. We have already 3 maps. A Google map with 180 initiatives of transition. In transition is a map, there are only 40. On my website, there are 140. So there you see already how can we judge the integrity of the data, and are there, can you set up a kind of what's called in English? I'm Dutch, by the way. So I saw Waddingsveen, it was very nice. A kind of evaluation, how good it is, how do we know, and things like that. That's my question.
Did I understand the question? How can we connect the different maps? Is that the question? Yeah.
One and the other way, how can we validate the information?
The validate
the information. An initiative says, I'm very good, I'm on the transition network, and when I look up the website and I only see rubbish, who decides it's okay to put it on the map or not? That's the question.
Yeah, very important point. So, well, at the moment in Germany, we have a network of regional pilots. For example, Frank has lived in Nuremberg, and he has subscribed to the map area in Nuremberg. And whenever somebody changes something in Nuremberg, he gets an email notification. and can check out if that's correct, if that's likely to be true or not. That's the system how it works now, but that's exactly the question why I wanted to start this call, because we are coming, first of all, we have more and more global networks that we want to map. And for example, the degrowth network, if we map it and somebody in Serbia says I'm degrowth, I have no idea what's actually happening in Serbia, for example. So we need to PFP partners all over the world. And the other question is we want to start to map global supply chain. That's really kind of my dream about this, all the platform, that we create this kind of transparency. We have a global movement of sustainability. And if we all work together, we can really validate very well global supply chain. When somebody says from Germany, we are getting our products from this company, and then we have an NGO in India that can validate this company, how much they apply sustainability activities. That could be really a global thing. And I'm really dreaming of that one day the German government says we are only importing goods that are that meet the standards we have in our values. Because I think it's kind of stupid that in Germany we have such kind of labor work laws, but when we import the thing, we just say, oh, we don't care. We cannot know where it comes from. So that's really this to say we don't know where it comes from. It's just a cheap excuse. So we need to make them aware that we actually know where it comes from, and then it's just a question of how we can make it validated. Yeah, so well, that's it. On the one hand side, I think we have to build this global network of NGOs that use kind of maps that can communicate with each other. And the other thing is, of course, interfaces. And we have a foundation from the Netherlands. They also see this as their goal to create interfaces between all the transition maps. So that's also the goal here for me, to get to know what mapping platforms are important for India, for Latin America, for France. Because we have a little amount of money, but we have some. So if we connect the most important platforms, we can have a good set of data. Yes, Kitty?
Can I add to that? Because I'm just busy with some webmasters and some guys who are interested. Normally, they are the guys who are interested in this kind of thing. But you know, I have another background. So we could say, well, I will propose them that idea and say, well, let's be serious. Let's define where are these mappings and who is doing it and who is behind it. So if we have a kind of list of people who are serious and do mapping already, that will be the best, and discuss it with you to see can we do something for France and transition, for instance.
Yeah. And maybe you want to share what map is mostly used in France. Like you now said, you have different Google Maps, and we cannot build interfaces to Google. Google doesn't allow it, but to any other platforms.
It's not open source. We have Google Map, we have Transiscope, we have a lot of them, you know. So and that will be nice if that will be integrated in one map. So that is also one of my points to make that happen. So that's the idea. And GreenMap, we had already a long time in France a guy who was doing it, and everybody was neglecting him. So and now things are coming, you know, through because it's so important. Okay, thanks.
Well, so you would say, I just write it down. So you would say that Transiscope is the most important platform now in France, right? You are muted. Kitty, you are muted.
Ihre Stummschaltung wurde aufgehoben. Hello?
Kitty, you are muted.
In France, if you put a Google Map, everybody's putting himself on the map without knowing if they're really in transition or not. So you have to check everything. So that's the problem.
Thanks. Now the telephone call joined in. Who is this?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Who are you?
Okay, so I joined earlier. I'm Arne from Stralsund. We have a local transition initiative here, Solidaric Agriculture and Garden, and yes, I was interested what's going on.
Thanks. What's your name again?
Arne.
Arno from Stralsund, from Germany.
Yes.
Nice to see you. Cool. Okay, thanks a lot, Kitty. Arno, you might mute yourself. Yeah, great. Now the echo is away. So actually now maybe we switch to another side where the people are really up late now in Min and Kimberly and Mohammed. What about India? Do you have any platforms there already? How do you have anything to make transition, degrowth, happiness visible already?
As far as I know, I haven't seen anything like this. This is really amazing. I am also in touch with many networks who are looking at similar things. Actually, Auroville was aspiring to be a transition town where I live in South India. So we have lots of people who were looking at that. I have not seen a map like this. But I would like to share something that I was building, which may complement, Helmut, what you were saying about sourcing materials from places and people who are fair and just and sustainable. So if there is time, I would like to share that platform very briefly for 2 minutes. And that platform is available again. It's a not-for-profit initiative for anything that we are all doing here.
Cool. I'm very interested. Let's maybe do it right now. First, maybe Johanna had a question. Is that true? Or do you want to say something also?
No. I am listening because it's new for me, all the mapping, and
Okay, but Anna, so maybe your question first, and then we can hear the presentation. That's, yeah, cool.
It's not question, it's something that happened to me answering Kitty. For the first map that I made, it was more easy for me because I was in touch with most of the people that was behind. I'm again said that there are people behind these projects, and I know most of the people that is behind of these projects and the currencies and the initiatives and all that is happening in the first map. But now when I start doing the map of the growth with Helmut, I'm involved in that network, but not in a deep way. So I had to ask the representative in Mexico, and he started giving me a list of people, but I can map with the people in this map. So I start, for now, what I'm doing, Kitty, is to call them and to ask them first if they want to be mapped in that place, and telling them all what's the project about, because maybe they don't know they will be in a map. And then I'm making this list, like the one that Helmut showed before, and that gives me the opportunity to know that these are real degrowth initiatives. And that's why I was saying to you, and I say it again, that it's important to, when mapping, to get involved and to know which people are behind that projects. But because some things are happening with me with some initiatives that were before in Mexico, that I was not in that time in initiative in transition at that time. And I can access to the people who can give me information of that specific initiative, just the ones that I know since I entered to Transition Network. So that's why it's important for me. I know I've been a little bit late, Helmut, but I'm working on that. So, and then when I have this list, I will start mapping. Amanda is helping me with that list, and other people. And also it's happening with the meeting I had before with CASA. We were talking about the same, that we have to know not just one people, maybe 3 people that are representing, and that knows that this initiative is representing also that movement. Because I think this kind of maps can be open for too much people, because they can put whatever they want, and we don't know what they are doing specifically. I hope this help you.
Thanks, Anai. Maybe something also to add there, it's always also the question, what do I map and who do I map it for? And what I feel from the past, that movements often start mapping themselves, and that's easier, and there you know the network, and it's also one part because you can connect the people within each other. The very special use case we have in Germany is also to go with school children to map the transition movement in their hometown and present it to their parents. And then it's not so important that we have the complete transition movement on our map, but that we have the perfect view for the children and their parents. So you can always use hashtags to separate things, but when they, just as an example, never forget the people who you're mapping it for. You might say, even if this project is very big, it's not important for my use case. If I'm mapping for parents, it might be important to have schools on the map. If I'm mapping for students, they do not have children, they don't care, but they want to live in living project, in living communities. So you have to include the living communities, which might not be important for the old people. I don't know. Just an example, if you know the target group, you can do better maps. Because also when you start printing the maps, like we do in Hamburg and other maps, you have to reduce the number of entries, because it gets just too crowded on the map. You see some places just too narrow. We need to leave things away. And that's a question of targeting the right people. Okay, Min, do you want to start your presentation now?
Yes, sure. I will not take more than 2 minutes, and I will just share the link later on, because this is not entirely connected to what we are talking about. So please bear with me.
I'm interested. I'm interested.
So this is a website called impactwala.org. We have been inspired by many such initiatives across the world, sorry. And the idea was that we are able to rank products based on certain criteria. And the criteria could be, organizations, institutions, manufacturers who have certain quality or justice and fairness built into them. So here is a sample of that. We are rating different products. Of course, these are very ordinary products and ordinary rating, because we were really struggling to get data. But this is what it can do. It can give you stars and so on. And I can make this available to this cause. I made this simply because we were so concerned about different products that we get in the shops, where we don't know exactly what it means. We were also trying to figure out how to tell people what the labels really mean from around the world. So these are all national, international labels that you see on products, and we've tried to simplify them. So something like this, if it's of use, we can customize this platform to do that and ensure that people, when they are shopping, that they get full information about, on a map or whatever format we use, about the product or a service they are getting. I'll stop here. And I'll share the link on the chat, and also on the link that you have shared, Helmut, and then people can take it from there. Helmut, you're on mute.
It seems that the platform is just starting. Is this right?
We started it last year. There was a lot of data coming through. Then we stopped because the only way we could convince consumers to use that was either to tie up with Amazon or in India with Flipkart, and we did not want to do that in the first place. And we were also talking to a couple of organizations in Germany, which did not work out. So right now it is at a stage where it's a template, it's a format, it's not completely populated, and it can be used for any purpose which will promote degrowth and sustainability.
Very interesting. And I would be interested more about the validation and how you do it.
Yeah, we built all sorts of kind of flows, information flows to see how we do that. In the beginning, we were thinking because data is very sparse, we would go with different organizations which are rating either companies or products or ingredients, crowdsource it, put it all together, and come up with some, composite information on different criteria.
Cool. And that is then based, like the level you are ranking is the product level or the organizational level?
So organizational level data is more readily available. So we were thinking that we would apply organizational level rating to all their products, and wherever we can find information about product specific things, we will then add that to that rating. That's how we would.
Cool, so let's keep in contact about that. Anna, you said also you might share your Kumu platform. Okay, so well, let's try to do it organized. So that was one project from India. It's not directly a map, but a platform to rate companies and products and to give users kind of the same orientation, consummation. And Joanna wants to say something.
Yes, I have to leave in 5 minutes because I have another Zoom call.
Of course. So just maybe to finish then with your case in Argentina, do you have already kind of a mapping project there?
No, it's the first time that I am listening about it. It's so interesting. I would like to help, but I don't know how, because for me it's new. I have to read, study, about the growth. I understand very much because I was in the degrowth Vienna event from Friday to yesterday. Yes, I was studying. Because of this, my eyes are red. I am so tired. All the weekend studying and pay attention with the screens, but it's so interesting. I will go to Google because maybe some people are working in mapping here, but I don't know. It's the first time that I've listened this. It's
cool.
new for me.
But great, I will put you in contact with Anai and Frank. And because Frank also coordinates a little bit together with Anna, the network from Latin America, and you can share experience and get in contact. Cool,
yes,
thanks a lot.
I am chatting with Frank and Anai. Very welcome. If I can serve, come on. Yes, of course. Call me in. Yes.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much. So sorry, but I have to leave.
Great.
Sending love to all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so if we do not have anybody else from India, Kimberly, as far as I know, you also don't have a certain project there. So we might move to Mexico. You're muted, Anai.
Yeah. I was just telling that I was working also in Kumu platform. And this is a very interesting platform because we can map from us. You can map who you are linked to, and you can map also like we are mapping like you, and also you can make different kinds of analysis, like for example, a stakeholder mapping, system mapping, the social network that I was telling you, and community assessed mapping. It's a little bit complex, but it's interesting if we work first with our network, personal network, and we will see we are connected to different networks. So that is when we begin to look that we are linked to currencies, to ESG ExpertNet, but also with transition movement. And I recommend this Kumu tool to begin with us, to the ones that don't have idea of mapping, because when we start mapping the people, we look that these people that is working with agroforesta or with permaculture, and they are involved in different projects and maybe are making a convergence between each other. I put there the link. And there's also I don't know from transition movement if you know Pedro Portela from Portugal, from Transition Portugal. He's doing this analysis I know this tool from him, and he's also open to make a webinar or to show the Kumu platform. And he's also working in other platforms, but I will ask you and then I will give you the other platforms.
But as far as I remember, you said you do not have your map anymore somehow, right?
Yeah, for now because it was linked to an account, but I am reorganizing everything with another account. But I will show you later because for now I have to make all from the beginning.
Cool. So thank you very much. Now we had Mexico, India. Well, Frank, do you have anything to share with us?
No, not really. I don't think we need to share more. I would rather spend some time on talking on where do we go from here. I think there's a number of interesting initiatives and there's some good intention, but before more people have to drop out of the call, I really would appreciate if we talked about, okay, what could be our joint next steps? How would we want to evolve this further?
Great. I am also interested in that, so maybe also that could be Nicola, you are probably most close to the transition network. Are you actually, well, you said you are also looking at the moment for different platforms. Yeah, what would be your next steps in this research, in this getting in activity?
I don't know the answer to that. I mean, Transition Network, we have a map on our website which is of transition initiatives and transition hubs around the world. As Kitty knows very well, it is not a complete map, you know, and that's frustrated me for a long time. That, you know, some transition groups are registered there, and then there's other transition groups who are registered on Transition France, and that, I'm just using that as an example. This is a universal situation. In Mexico, ANAI knows of transition initiatives that are not on the Transition Network map. And I realise what you're doing is much wider than that, much wider than that, with all the initiatives and projects and suppliers and shops and, you know, different projects. It's much wider than, are you a transition group or not? So I don't know if it's possible for me to say some sort of next step right now. I mean, yeah, I think from Transition Network's point of view, I would really love to solve just the problem of what's the big picture of transition, and you're working on something that's even bigger than that. So I don't know what the next step is. That's not very helpful, is it? Well,
the use case is the same. I mean, if we merge companies, if we merge economy of the common good initiative, if we merge maps of degrowth initiatives, it's always the question how we detect the duplicates and merge duplicates. That's the most complicated thing. Actually, since 2014, we are working in different teams, sometimes European-wide, sometimes only Germany, on this topic. I know we are getting there closer every time. And then there's the question of translating taxonomies, because people in UK or probably in India even more, they might think totally different about how the world is structured in a way, because in the end you need to translate the transition initiative. What is it in England, in India? What is in an eco-village might be totally different in Mexico than in Germany. So that's then also the point where you can have endless discussions. But the use case, it could be a fairly good use case for the first project to merge global transition maps, and only for transition towns. And what map is used in France or in other countries? What platforms, what techniques are used there?
Well, when people have can write in their transition network on the website of transition on transition.fr. And then, well, I look what they're doing, if they're Facebook, if it's really only one person or more persons. So that's a kind of validation. So I put them on the website and I ask them to put them also on the transition network. But there in France, it's also a language problem. The French, I invited some guys of this group I'm forming about the transition website, and the website from an official hub EDF to be there. Well, because with English they're not there, you know. I said, how can we communicate in French with people all over the world, Mexico, India, whatever? They still think that everybody should speak French. So that is one of the main problems in France. So we have to deal with that. But then somebody started the Google Map, not me, but you know, this Google Map. And then they are saying, oh, you have to be on the Google Map. And if you look at it, it's not really, most of them are not really transition. So now we make a really investigation, what is really transition, what is more than 1 or 2 or 3 people, and what they are doing, and what is their aim, and or are they already on transition? There are people on the transition network map who are not on the Google Map because on our map, because well, it's just the AMAP, it's one of these CSA organizations. Why is that not transition, you know? So that level the discussion. So we are far from integrating things, but we come there eventually.
Yeah. Okay, so and then okay, so probably it's a WordPress own thing then. So yeah.
No, it's WordPress, Google Map, Transiscope, and GoGoCarto. So we have 3 maps, and because I present all the initiatives on per name on the website, on the TT, whatever, Paris, Grenoble, it doesn't matter, so that people can read it and click on it and directly come to the website there, or the Facebook, whatever it is. We accept on the WordPress everything, so we can represent it also by a map, and we could go as an experiment, go to the Carto tomorrow and have all these initiatives on the map, just as a country who can do that. But I have to talk to the webmaster and the guys who are making this website, if they agree to that. It could be a nice experiment. If you do it in another country, which really are not really not German and not English, that could be a nice experiment to give it a try. And then if it works out okay, and we learn something from it, that could be then implemented elsewhere. So just an idea.
Yes, great. I mean, yes.
Sorry, Helmut, please continue. I want to say a few things before I log off. Please continue.
I was just saying yeah, to have that CSA project register as transition projects, I think it's also the problem of they don't have another platform where to be visible together with the transition movement. So on our map of tomorrow, they could just use a hashtag CSA for community supported agriculture and transition, and you can have a map where you show both hashtags together. So then they are linked on the same map, but you still have clear data. That would be one solution. I would at least suggest that you try to convince the people of using Map of Tomorrow instead of Google Maps. If they use GoGoCarto or something, it's still better than Google because we can build interfaces to GoGoCarto, but not to Google. So if you might persuade them to do this shift at the first step, could be a great help already.
I didn't publish Google Map. Everybody, you have to, but they are saying, oh, you have to go to Google Map. Oh, you put your right in, and they're not even written in Transition International or in France. And everybody is putting themselves on the card. You know, it has no value. So that's why I refuse to put Google Map on the WordPress website. So yeah. I'm referring from this. So I agree with you. It's not integrated. It's not open source. We go for open source. and that's the way to go forward and work together instead of, you know, in competition. So.
Yeah. Min.
Yeah, it's my 9-year-old daughter who wants to play with me now. It's around 10:50 here. So I'm very excited to hear all of this. In India, this is just the beginning. So we can learn from what's happening around the world and choose the best solution that will help all of us to come together. So this Map of Tomorrow thing, I am part of many networks in India. I can definitely push this as the platform to map whatever activities are happening as a first step. The second thing is a plea that I want to make with all of you, which I'm doing to all my friends and partners in the social world, which is the COVID virus, which has caused so much pain, distress all over the world, also in India. Can this be an opportunity for the larger system shift? A shift that the Transition Town Network, many other initiatives such as these were trying to achieve, but this is the time. I think systems are disrupted. I think we should be very ambitious. I think we should ask for more. I think we should do more. I think this is our time. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity to reframe the whole system, which is more just, more fair, and more sustainable.
Really, really cool. Thanks a lot, and we will learn a lot from you from happiness. So let's keep in contact.
Yes, surely. Thank you, everyone, and bye for now. Nice talking to all of you and listening to you. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, Anai.
What you're saying about using Google, this was my question when I was exploring the other maps, and I found your map, Helmut, because I was trying to make another platform for not to be in Google. And also I think Google have good things, but it's very, it has limits with these things we are saying about the hashtags or the people who, how do we define transition or education for sustainability. And I think for transition, if we are joining here, we can also think about that we can use this map of tomorrow. And maybe it was very easy for me to know that there was someone else mapping, because I make the call from Latin American group of Transition Network yesterday, a few days ago, and immediately it comes Juan Pablo from Chile and told me that he was mapping and exploring some ideas from mapping. And I was there with him like 1 hour ago, and I was showing this map. And I noticed that when you make the calls or give a invitation for mapping, there is one people or two doing the same. So it's very interesting if maybe from transition or for one group, we agree to make a call, in this group to make a call to use this map and start supporting the map from Transition Network, but at the same time, the other hashtags or topics from that appears in the map. For example, in Mexico, the first map I made in Google is not called Transition Movement Map. It's called Resilience. I don't remember, but it was a Resilience and Inspiration Transition Movement Map. It's not called Transition Network Map from Mexico or something like that, because it's different the way in Mexico we see the transition movement as in France, as in other places. So that will be nice for me. I can participate. I'm already involved in that. It takes time, and it also not for this time. As you may know, Helmut, it's changing and it's involving more people, and it's all the time we have to be working on mapping. And for me, that is great. I love mapping, I love cartography. And I think there are more people in the initiatives that are doing that. And we just have to make the call and to start making this meeting. I don't know.
Cool, maybe I might be even able to join there. Okay, Frank, how do we come to, Kimberly?
Yeah, so actually I'm not into mapping and all, but the institute where I work, we have a separate course for the students, which is geospatial technology. So I think if, you know, like the students get this kind of project, like work on mapping in India, so that can be a step, like, you know, the students can take up this project, and might be we could develop a, you know, do this mapping for in and around the city where I live actually. And in our institute, we have students from across the country, India, like various parts of India. So if each student, we could actually ask the geospatial technology students to map from their city, that would kind of help. So yeah, that's the first step. I'll talk to my principal about it, about the institute. So she can definitely work on, because over here we only use Google Maps. In India, like there's no platform of any other kind of mapping rather than the Google Maps. And even Google Maps do not show all the parts of India. Like there are very remote areas of the country which do practice sustainable activities. And there are schools also, like in the northern parts, the northeastern parts, or the southern parts, which do not have access to internet, but they do practice sustainable activities. So that is not shown on the map. Even the place is not shown on the map. Forget about the sustainable practice that they're doing. The school itself is not mapped on the Google map. So I guess a platform like this should definitely include them as well. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks. Okay, Frank, how do we get closer? I mean, one question from me to Kitty would be like, we have the map already in English, so India and, well, UK is served, also in Spanish. So Annie and Amanda, they are having it, but would you be able to translate a file of around 2 or 3 A4 pages into French, from English to French? So you can also use the map in your own language?
Yes, I could do that. Of course, I'm making now a circle of translators, but I have a lady in Mexico who is translating from English to French for me. So, but I'm not native French, but I can translate in French.
Okay.
But, you know, the finishing touch should be native French.
Can you just type your?
We can do that.
Can you just type your email address in the Zoom chat so I can get in contact with you afterwards?
I have Kitty's contact, Helmut.
Ah,
yeah.
Great. Okay.
But to your question, Helmut, so I think there are basically 3 things I believe we could do. One is to establish like this database of people working on mapping projects, so we can easily find each other and have like the different technologies that are in place in the different mapping projects as they are. So this would be the first one, so we can easily find each other and connect. Then the second would be to think about, all right, there's like 2 options amongst all these projects. Option 1 is, do we find an interface to connect the data from one mapping tool to another? So people, no matter what tool they use, they could find the data from the one place as they could find the data from the other place. I.e., if a user uses the map of tomorrow, it would be cool if he's in France, he could, in the map of tomorrow, automatically also see the data from the French mapping project. So like there's an automated interface. And I think there was some discussion about that before. So this is option one, building interfaces between existing tools. And hopefully in the long run, there will be like a transition. So also technology-wise, more be moved to one joint platform, or technology platform we use. Really, I personally don't care what it is, because I'm not a technology guy. I'm a guy that looks at function. So the technology to me is just a means to an end, no more. So from that perspective, I'm happy with whatever technology we use, as long as it works and as long as it's not Google or Microsoft, because I think systemically we should look at IT just like we look at food and buy products that fit to our belief systems. So from that perspective, I think we got good options here. It's also a question of resources, right? At the moment we have, like, I would guess, hundreds of people globally developing these mapping tools and maintaining them. And if we use the same platform, that would free up resources to do other wonderful things to transform the world. And we don't have to do this simultaneously in so many places. I think Kitty has...
Yeah, may I add something? I just wanted... This Moet? No, that's it, not on. It's the wrong. I have already an Excel file, so all the what I'm doing now, I have all the initiatives with the contact names and their main website and the Facebook I have in a spreadsheet, and I'm saying which are I have somebody started new again, it doesn't matter, but I have all the postcodes, so you can really point them. I put who are on transition network, who are linking back to or who are on transition France, who are on transition network and not on transition France, and who are and who are on the Google map. So I made a spreadsheet already, because I'm used to make an overview. So that's there. So we can just give it a try. Why not? So, and we have also already made a signal, and that's the round thing with the thing in it. It's on my website, Transition France. That's and a small logo and with a big logo. So everything is there, and I just have to update the again, because it goes so fast. If something is putting on the map in transition, they don't inform us that there's a new initiative, so we cannot know who at access. Are they already in our on our database or not? So that is one. You have to make an appointment between the movements as well. So it's not only mapping, that's one technical point, but also make really some chart between us to how to do it, and who is doing what, and who decides, and things like that. I think the structure between the partners is also important.
Yeah. Okay, so, well, to finish up, maybe I see the need that we agree on the same, or more or less try to get people to use the map in India and Mexico and wherever, then build interfaces between existing platforms, but also by the time try to reduce the number of platforms, but get less and better platforms. And I think we are going to focus now on this building interfaces between platforms. I have applied for 2.3 million euro funding from the German government. So together with the German Transition Network and the Economy for the Common Good. So let's hope that they are funding us, so that works. We have a good resource of doing interfaces. We are really then enough. If not, we still have the Netherlands Foundation, which funds a little bit of interaction. So we might start with Go Okato, this platform, probably is the most relevant, and then Open Green Map. Although that Open Green Map is not that much used in Europe, I think, but still for USA it's important. Yeah, and please maybe you can share your spreadsheet with all of us. Yeah, that would be awesome.
But I'm on a computer now, so I cannot do it. But I will, if you make minutes, I will put it in there. Okay?
Yeah, definitely. The minutes are online. I can, maybe Frank sends you the minutes by email.
Hi,
Thank you very much.
I just wanted to ask something. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I think as being a part of India, as you know, it's the largest populated country and having a diverse culture and people in terms of language and practices. So just I wanted to ask that as you said, we need to expand the idea of map of tomorrow. Like we have Google, which is dominated in our computers and technology, as you know. But the thing is that this idea of demonstration of map of tomorrow, like if you are talking and negotiating with some stakeholders to use of map of tomorrow, so what are the things and what are the demonstration methods we can use in the local context to say them, like the question of security and personal information, as Google is having a lot of data, okay, like in compared to DuckDuckGo, which is a different search engine of Europe. So the Google is a dominated, which is gathering the data and everything. So this is also important to like how can we negotiate in terms of security reasons and the demonstration method. So yeah, that's my question.
I don't know if I understood it right, but this question of, yeah, of course, Google has a big advantage because it has a lot of data already. I mean, we are using OpenStreetMap as the background map, and I don't know how good India is mapped already on the OpenStreetMap map. So that's probably the biggest issue, that it might be difficult. Certain addresses you are not able to find on the OpenStreetMap. That means that we are not able to put dots on the certain spot. Also, the problem was a little bit in Mexico. So we have to think about if we use Google only as a background map, but still to have the data in our own database. That's anyway, that's independent of the background map. We have an own database with the transition initiatives. And it's still helpful if you use it on our map, because you can use the hashtags to make networks visible. If you go to Google, you might be by accident kind of find a transition initiative, but you're never able to show the transition network on a Google network, only if you map it on your own platform. But then again, you are the only person that can map it on your platform, and nobody can reuse the data. So that's the advantage. But of course, with the background map, it's really, really a big point. So if you see that there's no chance that it will work in India, we need to install another front end, which we might also give an own name, or map of tomorrow, or Indian map of transition. You can call it however you want. And then on this other front end, it will be connected to the same database, but then there you can use the Google map in the background if there's no other option.
Yeah, that's the thing that we need to. Yeah, that's the thing we need to identify. Which method and which context we are trying to negotiate with the stakeholders. So that's the important thing. Like the map of tomorrow is a German made application. So it is not applicable to the Indian context. Okay, if you're going to them and asking them to using these kind of things. So so we need to identify the context within the local language, within the local perspective, using the map of tomorrow. Yeah, that's a great. Thank you, Helmut, for the
okay.
answer.
Was there somebody who wanted to add something? No?
I think Kitty was saying something. I'm so sorry. Kitty was.
Yes, I would say the Indian map should be called the Indian map of happiness, and I have to check with my little group of people who are now jumping on the website and suddenly want to change everything and whatever. So But you know, I try to be retired next year. I'm still I do already this website 10 years, so it's time to hand it over to youngsters. But you know they are so enthusiastic. All the old stuff is gone, and we make new things. I said, well, you know, you have archives. It's already 10 years archives, so you can read the history from 3 things to 140. So that's very interesting to keep it. But I have to check with them and present it quite well with the minutes of your conversation in English. So, okay, good.
Sounds great, Kitty. I will definitely go through that. Thank you very much for sharing this.
Thank you very much to all of you. Yeah, Inai.
No, it's just that I put it in the chat, but I think our shortcut to make this more easy is to know the people who's mapping or the mappers. I already have in Latin America like 8 people who is doing the same. So maybe between our initiatives, we can make a call and then start beginning with these people and to share the different ways they are mapping, because I think they, in Casa, for example, they are using Ning and they are paying a lot. And I was telling Juan Pablo that sometimes we can make the same effort together, you know? It's not just one in one platform and in other. And my dream will be to have a meta map or something, but it would be nice that it can be just in 2 or 3 platforms, not more, because it's difficult to start looking for the other options. But well, for now it's okay. I think Map of Tomorrow is having that, and also there are different organizations and networks involved already, you know?
Okay, so what do you think? If we really start to be concrete? Yeah, Kitty?
I think open source is the starting point. It should be open source and not a Ning or whatever. So it should be open source. That's one. I think we should have a test with a country who, if I have my spreadsheet and we can use it to have a test on, you know, but the people have to agree on it. A transition has to agree on it. So then, you know, then if it works for one country, it speeds up the other ones as well, and that will be, you know, when it's a success, then it gives some energy to do it for other countries as well. It's not a small country. France is not like Belgium or the Netherlands. Netherlands is very innovative, etc. I'm Dutch, very proud of the Netherlands, but I live in France, and I decided to stay in France. So, but I'm looking forward to make a nice concrete idea to work it out together. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely open source is important. I'm really, it would help and make it much cheaper also to build interfaces if we have only 5 platforms than 100. But I think we will never agree on only one platform. It's just because people have so many different use cases. Kumu, for example, has a complete new way of looking on things. So, and also OpenGreenMap with their beautiful icons, and maybe some other options they have which we do not provide so easily. So still some interfaces will be needed, definitely. But to get a good overview about who is mapping globally on any transitional theme, can be e-growth, can be sustainable SDGs or anything. What do you think if we use a common hashtag and just put those initiatives on the Map of Tomorrow? I mean, we could also use a Google sheet, but then we are back to Google, and we still have just a sheet and not we have not overview about the different areas. So we could just use a hashtag like mapping transformation and really try to put all the mapping platforms, just the platforms, not what they're mapping, just the people who map, the organizations who are mapping, to map those mappers.
I think it's a good idea. You know, I'm using Google also, like my email account, because they're very good tools. It's for free still. So, you know, but when you go to mapping, it should be open source. It should be we who decide what is going on.
Yeah.
And if you leave to Google, then you always, when they say, yeah, now you have to pay, then we are logged in like in Ning and whatever. So that's the idea. Yeah.
And so I could also, if you register on Map of Tomorrow on the login page, I can give you a link, so you can also download all the mapping transformation list. I don't know, Kitty, if you say you have already a list of hundreds of mapping platforms and you just want to load it up to Google or even Nextcloud. Nextcloud is also brilliant working already. Then we could use a list, but otherwise I would suggest to...
Can you repeat this question? No, I said I don't have thousands of, I said I have 180 in a spreadsheet. I have my initiatives. And
the Transition Town initiatives.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
In a spreadsheet, yeah. But that's for India interesting. Nordsee said all the people have products and they say, well, we are doing better later on because they're poison stuff inside. And the people say yes, but they never do it. So they get orange, but it should be red instead of green. So the greenwashing things, be very careful with product. And I think it's very tricky business. And Germany is very good in it because I must be somewhere in my files, but they have an enormous database with all the products. They don't judge, but they say what's in it. So if you can target what is wrong, you never should put it on a good map. So that are tools which could help, just to brainwash, brainstorm a bit. Yeah.
I'm not sure if we understand right. I was just thinking about to map mappers, not about the entries, not about transition initiatives, not about just to collect all the people who have platforms so we get a better overview. And it's just my question about the place where we do it. So we do it together and we see each other and we can starting work together.
Mm-hmm.
Anai, did you want to say something?
No, I was just asking if there was, I agree with you with this hashtag of mapping transformation, but I would like to be more simple, like in a Excel sheet or something, to put the name and the initiative and the mapper for now. And I don't know if you or Frank want to be in charge of this list and we start nourishing it these days. And then we try to make the call for the mappers. What do you think about that?
I'm also okay with that. So that would mean that Frank, or we could also use WeChange, but probably Frank and me are the only who use WeChange so far. But Frank, let's just find a list where we collect all those things, right? And then everybody can send it to us. And I can also just start mapping them however, but then we have, at least we have a list, okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Frank, are you okay with that? Okay.
Yes, I'm okay with that. Sorry, I had trouble to open my mic.
Cool. Thanks. So, okay, so we collected, send it to me or Frank and I will find a way to collect all these platforms, and we see again in 1 month or something around that, right? And let's keep in touch. We have the protocol, we have the contact of each other. We will maybe send a WhatsApp group. Let's find a way how to be in contact easily.
Thanks, Helmut, for bringing all of us together.
Thanks for all of you to be here and to see you again. Deepika was just trying to get in, but somehow she failed. Cool. Shall we say a last word for everybody?
Brilliant.
I'm very happy to see people from 2 nice networks and that we are converging the ideas and the mapping, and for me it's very excited because I start alone and now I'm looking for more people. And thank you very much for what you're doing, everyone, in your countries, and we will keep talking and conversing and everything. I think Nicola get out, but we can talk about all these things with Nicola, because she can make a big call from transition movement. And thank you again, and nice to see you.
Thanks. Great. Global love. Europe, India, Latin America.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I'm excited. This is great. So let's keep going.
It's really fantastic, and I'm very enthusiastic. I'm looking forward to more session and more ideas. I'm very happy to see you all. Thank you very much.
Yes, excited here too. We'll definitely make the list and send it to you, Helmut.
And
Lovely.
thank you to the Indians to stay awake so long.
Yeah. Bye bye, and stay healthy.
Yes.
Bye. Stay safe, guys.
Yeah.
Bye
Good
bye.
happiness. Good happiness to you. Bye.